First, we'll start out with an invocation. I'm going to turn it over to Vern. Which Vern? Nikki, can I have you take roll call?
Carlos Fernandez,
Here.
Eric Gishik, should be good now, Tara.
There we go. I was trying to type in the chat. Here.
Shane Drift,
Come on, here.
Janelle Gogolak, here, Robert Moyer.
Here. All right, first, we're going to have the approval of the agenda. If council can review and see if there's a need for additions or deletions. If not, I ask for a motion to approve the agenda.
Move to approve.
Moved by Shane. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Janelle. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Any silent? Motion carried. First item is the approval of the meeting minutes.
Are we gonna do them one by one or?
If there's no questions, we can do all 3 dates.
I think that, looking at the November 19th, 2025 meeting minutes, is that where we talked about the, I think it's on page, the first page where we talk about the cannabis compact between Bois Forte, the state of Minnesota. Is that something to take into consideration with, a new governor being selected for the state of Minnesota? And talking with our attorney, Jeff Holtz, yesterday regarding the new governor coming in, whoever it is. My concern was, can they rewrite or do something to the compact that between Bois Forte and the state of Minnesota? Not specifically, but the loophole is the OCM rules and guidelines pertaining to the compact and how it's written. So I think that's something that we as a tribal council need to sit down with our legal attorney, Jeff, and start to prepare for any eventualities. Thank you.
Sounds good. I wonder if we can add that as an agenda item so that it'll be documented in the meeting as, you know, something that we want to do. And then instead of just adding it to the minutes right now.
Mhm.
Maybe we can do that, Miranda. Can we, I know we approved the agenda, but under other, if we can add that, add something real quick so that we can get that official.
I'll move to approve. Yes, all three.
A motion to approve the meeting minutes for October 1st, November 19th, and December 17th. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Janelle. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Any silent? Motion carried. First item on the, or next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. Miranda, can you read through the consent agenda?
Yes, under letter A, approve the change order number 1 and 2 for Ulland Brothers for Net Lake Wastewater System Improvements. The vote was 4 in favor, 0 against, 0 silent. Letter B, resolution number 51-2026, approving the Title VI grant application and survey for needs. The vote was 4 in favor, 0 against, 0 silent. Letter C, approved master services agreement with Integris for purchase of software. Vote was 4 in favor, 0 against, 0 silent. Letter D, resolution number 52-2026, requesting litigation support and attorney fee funding from BIA for fiscal year 2026. Vote was 4 in favor, 0 against, 0 silent.
As for a motion to approve the consent agenda as read.
Second.
Moved by Janelle, second by Robert. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any silent? Motion carried. Next item on the agenda is Kim Greiner. She is going to provide us with Q1 financials for the fiscal year 2026. Thank you for joining us today, Kim.
Good morning.
Thank you
Good.
for joining us.
So this is the second quarter we've done a very high level overview of the financials. So this is a draft financial statement as of December 31st, 2025. So we have assets for the reservation of $113,798,116. And this is just the tribal government side. It does not include enterprises. We have liabilities, which is current liabilities and long-term debt of $22,684,800 dollars. And so we have a net position or fund balance of $90,521,792. So for revenues for the first quarter, we had $17,563,920. And we had expenditures of $16,972,397, which gives us excess revenues over expenditures of $591,523.
Kim, quick question.
Uh-huh.
Can you present those numbers to council in written form?
Yep,
Thank you.
I just finished them last night. It's just the timing. It's so quick to get some of the information in. Yep.
Oh, good. I didn't have any questions. I don't know if maybe we'll wait to see the written reports to see what we'd like added on next time. And if we have any more questions, is there any more discussion today? If not, thank you, Kim. I appreciate it. Acknowledge your report for the Q1 financials. Perfect. Thank you much. I was just Thank you for joining us today, Pam. I'm going to turn it over to you and you're going to give us an update.
Good morning. Ooh, okay. All right. So I just wanted to switch this up. We're starting in January. It's a brand new year. Let's switch this up a little bit. It sounds so rehearsed when we're doing the questions. So what I'd like to propose is if I could just do a update for you, answering all of the questions that you should be asking me. And then if you guys have questions at the end, that would be great.
Sounds good. It sounds like your update is going to fulfill our requirements. So
Yes, it will.
sounds good to me.
Yep.
Let's try it out.
All right, so first thing is my greatest concern as a health compliance official is, of course, cybersecurity protections and increasing awareness and education for our employees. So our ID department has, and I'm sure you guys have all started getting the know before trainings for cybersecurity awareness. So, shout out to the IT department and Eddie for getting that going. It's really important. All of our tribal government employees are aware of the cybersecurity issues that are out there and increase their awareness so we're not stuck in that cybersecurity trap. So the top 3 items I'm currently working on are finishing the policy and procedure reviews for 2025. So right now I'm just updating them and I'll have them ready for the next health board meeting. I did complete the security risk assessment for 2025. And right now I'm working on the work plan for 2026. So when I do the security risk assessment, I always make a work plan for the next year of things that we're going to be working on. Randy Long, who is our security official, right now has the security risk assessment and he's reviewing it. He was on vacation when I did it, so he's going to be reviewing that and getting that back to me with his input. I started planning for the 2026 HIPAA in-person trainings, and I'm hoping to make this as interactive and fun as the 2025 trainings were. Employee feedback indicated they learned more than just watching a video on HIPAA. So I'd like to encourage all our RTG members to try and attend one of the HIPAA trainings. So I'll be getting them dates set and then I'll send out the flyers to you guys. A couple of you still owe me trainings. So FYI. All right. The compliance committee. So we recently, for January, we rotated out 2 of our members and we welcomed 2 new members, David DeJude and Terry Defoe. So I'd like to welcome them to the compliance committee and I thank them for their commitment to the compliance program at Health and Human Services. Some of the risks that I'm working on right now is billing and coding audits. And we just started doing billing and coding audits. We plan on doing them quarterly, but until we're getting in practice right now, so we're doing them monthly for right now. We also have McManus and Monslav that are auditing our billing department and our coding department. So I expect them to come and do training with our staff in January. And as soon as I get their report and their findings, I will get them to the council. Reviewing and writing of revenue operation policies and procedures. So the billing manager is working with me on getting the policies and procedures solidified for the revenue department. I do have all the resources that I need to fulfill my official responsibilities as the health compliance official. So I have the budget, I have the staff, and I also have the tools that I need. I also have access to the people, information, and the data that I need to do my job. And I believe I have sufficient authority to do my job. I also believe our employees, our department supervisors and managers listen to me and they do take my concerns seriously. And I am included in discussions of any new strategies, projects, or initiatives to ensure they're pursued compliantly. And then lastly, I do not need to be in executive session because I have nothing to report in an executive session, which is like a good thing. So, all right. Do you guys have any questions of me?
Did you get my documentations for that, what was it? Confidentiality training? Yep.
Yes, Shane, I did.
Okay,
Thank you
thank you.
so much. Yep, there's two of you I'll be hounding. I won't name names. And they may have been lost in inner office too, so. Cause I know Janelle's took a long time to get to me. Yeah. Yeah, it's like they traveled. Otherwise, that's all I have for you guys.
I just have a question and I'm out of curiosity, how does one get added to the compliance team?
Well, so how one gets added is when I rotate two members out, I go to our supervisors and managers and I ask them if they have any recommendations. I also ask our current committee if they have any recommendations. I always have to go through the managers because they can't just select somebody without their manager knowing. So that's kind of how I do it. And then, you know, I really want to make sure that they're committed. So I don't want somebody to come to a meeting just to come to a meeting. I want them to be committed to working on compliance. So really happy. We got a great compliance committee, so.
Thank you, Pam.
Great.
Much appreciated.
All right. Thanks you guys for everything you do.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nikki. Next up on the agenda, we have Amanda Gogolai. She'll be talking with us about emergency fund guidelines update. Thank you for joining us today, Amanda.
There we go. Good, how are you?
Thanks for coming.
Yes. Okay, so I'm looking for approval for, I updated the guidelines for the medical emergency fund. Jeff had cleaned up the wording a little bit on it. And then we, under number 5 under eligibility, it used to say St. Louis, Coochin, and Itasca counties, and we changed that to Minnesota. So we can help a little bit more people. And then on under number 1, we added to help people to do oncology appointments or follow-ups. And under the limitations, we changed it to, it used to be calendar year, and we changed it to fiscal year to go along with the funding. I'm just looking for approval to update those.
We have a question from Kim in the audience.
Oh,
When we updated. Is there language in there about the General Welfare Exclusion Act?
yes.
Okay, I
There's-
didn't know.
he added
Yeah,
it.
okay, just wanted to know.
So I have a question. Amanda, so this will be opened up statewide to our band members?
Yep.
Do we have any predictions or forecasts of how much more that's gonna cost the program?
Well, I have $15,000 is the budget on it for yearly. And honestly, when I took this program over, when I got this position, the person that was running it before me, they didn't follow the 3 county thing. So it's been kind of open this whole time
Oh,
to
okay.
everybody. And we've been just, because people would be like, well, you helped, this person, why can't I get help? And I'm like, well, okay. So, we just changed it to, so we've been pretty much helping people throughout the state of Minnesota.
And so when the $15,000 is met, that's it, the fund is.
Yep.
Is inactive or.
Yeah, in the
canceled for
past,
rest of
in
year?
the 3 years that I've done this program, we haven't, I think one time we've come close to that $15,000,
Oh,
but
good.
because there's only a maximum of 400 per person that can do it every year, so.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Couple of questions I got regarding that particular point that you just talked about. Is there a line item that, or a way that band members that live outside of Minnesota could access this program for medical assistance?
We don't have one for, I don't believe we have one for.
You don't have it?
No.
Okay, is there a way that we could?
I would believe so. I'd have to check with Dan.
Okay, and then, getting to Kim's point, when she talked, she mentioned, general welfare exclusion. What exactly does all that entail in a nutshell?
Honestly, I don't know. Jeff had added that in.
Here comes Kim.
So probably about 15 years ago, the IRS attempted to tax some tribes like down in the south for benefits received as from, like PRC type stuff. And so then there was been working with a group, on a national level, worked with the IRS, and they come up with this General Welfare Exclusion Act.
Okay.
And so if we put that this is a general welfare thing, it's so it's non-taxable. And then the IRS just finalized the new rules like last week or the week before. And so when we've been doing policies, we've been trying to put the language in there in all the policies to protect recipients from tax liabilities.
Okay, now, with that being said, on the federal side, but what about the state side? Does that address that as well?
Yep.
So no worries there.
Yes, state usually follows the,
Federal?
yeah.
All right, thank you. That's all I got.
Thanks.
Move to approve.
Moved by Shane. Do I have a second? Second by Robert. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Any silent? Motion carried. Thank you, Amanda.
Thank you.
All right, next up on the agenda, we have Simona Benner. Simona's talking with us about an employment application revision.
Okay, so a while back, we started the process of updating the application and now it's here. So some of the changes on there is changing the title to Boysport Reservation Tribal Government that instead of council, and then the actual address. We have added if you have a different last name or attended school or worked under another last name. Asking if they're over 18. And then we also added a blurb of letting applicants know we extend preference to hiring natives and military veterans. So we went more in depth with that, and then we added asking if they are descendant one generation, which we will consider. On the second page of the application is pretty much the same, except we took out the salary information. And then the last page where it asks about the education, we split the GED and high school diploma, and then we went more in depth with the college education or vocational school, asking it's an associate's, bachelor's, master's, doctorate, other, and then if there's any other certificate or licensure. And one of the major changes that is required now on the applications, if they're approved, is the minimum mandatory qualifications in the job descriptions. You go to the back page and it lists what is needed. We're going to ask you to explain or describe how you meet or exceed the experience of that. And then the education, how you meet or exceed that, and then any licensures, how you meet or exceed that. And then the last page is similar to the last page of the original application. It asks about any specialized training. We did add what machines or equipment you can operate that specifically relate to the job for which you are applying for. And then that's it.
Sounds good. Simona, I know that you split up GED and high school diploma. I just wanted to clarify that it was still considered equal. Okay,
Yes.
perfect.
Simona, is the descendant one generation something new, or has that always been on the applications?
That is something new. That is something that we have added.
Okay, so how would that work? Because the question is asking if they're enrolled in a tribe, and then if they're enrolled, provide tribal affiliation enrollment number. So are the points going to be the same as a enrolled member if they're a descendant?
We'll have to fix that portion of the interviews. No, they will not be the same points awarded to the
Okay.
individual.
Okay,
The descendant would have points, but less points than an enrolled member.
okay. And then the other comment that I have is, and I don't remember where I was, but I heard something about the, excuse me, the or post office contacting us about, the zip code.
Yes, so that is fixed on the application.
Okay.
It's no longer Net Lake. It says or.
Okay.
And then our zip code is 55771.
Okay, all right. That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions?
Are they able to change these on the online application to reflect these changes soon, or
Yeah.
are we gonna have to wait till we do a new system and get rid of that online application we have now?
We'll have to check with IT. We're certainly hoping to replace that online application. Yes.
Perfect, thank you. I think I didn't have any more questions. If there's any other discussion, if not, ask for a motion to approve the revision for the employment application.
I'll move.
Moved by Janelle, second by Shane. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Any silent? Motion carried.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Mr. Chairman, before we go on to Jalen, just for the audience's information, both online and in person, what Janelle was referring to with the zip code is with the Orr Post Office, they've notified us that the only addresses within the village of Net Lake that should have Net Lake, Minnesota 55772 as part of their address are those addresses located within the post office within the Net Lake C-store. Any other address, even if it's within the boundaries of the village, would be, if it's a physical mailing address, will be or Minnesota 55771. So our band members may see some different addresses coming out on our letterhead, physical addresses, so just for audience's information, that's the change that's coming to our addresses. Thank you.
Just a question, Miranda, was that information put out to the community in some way, maybe in the Boysport News or something?
No, I don't believe it has been yet.
Okay.
We were notified, the enrollment department was notified. The accounting department knew about it, so it's pretty new. So we will definitely get that information out.
Okay, thank you.
Update. It has been in the Boysport newspaper, has been submitted to it. Yes.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Simona.
Sounds good. Next is Jalen Strong. No, he was just here in person. I'm not sure if he stepped outside. All right, we'll move on to the next one before we see Jayla. Next on the agenda is Nikki Irving. First, she's going to talk about resolution number 53-2026, approving 2026 or the 2026 IGA membership dues.
Yep, I just need to get approval for the Indian Gaming Association membership dues for 2026, and that's for $3,500 for the year. And typically Fortune Bay pays that, but we kind of do all the paperwork and get it approved.
There's no questions. I'd ask for a motion to approve resolution 53-2026, approving the 2026 IGA membership dues. Moved by Robert.
Second.
Second by Shane. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Any silent? Motion carried. Next, it looks like we have resolution 54-2026, accepting a grant award from OEMS for the ambulance.
Yep, so this is from the Office of Emergency Medical Services through the state of Minnesota. We had to submit I forget what it's called, a cost reporting for the end of last year when we for the year anyway. And basically they're kind of awarding us funds for the deficit for the ambulance, and they're giving us $20,188.67. And we can basically use it for pretty much anything, whether it's personnel, training, supplies. And I figured what I would do this year with this is just start transferring out our radios, because they're pretty old right now, so we'll just kind of go that route right now. And in order to accept it, we need like a resolution and formal approval from you guys.
Sounds good. Sounds good. There's no questions or discussions. I ask for a motion to approve resolution 54-2026.
Move.
Moved by Shane. Second by Robert. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Any silent? Motion carried. Thank you, Nikki. Next up, we have a item from Shane. Funding request for Native American Heritage Night events at the Rock Ridge Hockey Games.
Yes, thank you, council members. I'll read the proposal that I submitted. It says, first and foremost, I would like to say thank you to the tribal council for this unique opportunity to submit a funding proposal. With that, I'm officially submitting a funding request on behalf of some Bushwood band members. The band members are looking to host two Native American Heritage Night events at Rock Ridge during a hockey game on January 20th and January 30th, 2026. The event will be drumming and singing with Eagle Staffs. The amount that I'm requesting for the event is $1,400. The funding will cover the cost of 5 singers and 2 flagstaff carriers per event. So with that, I'm asking for approval from the tribal council.
There's no questions or discussions. Ask for a motion to approve the funding request for the Native American Heritage Night events at Rock Ridge Hockey Games. We have a question.
But did this go to the donations committee at all for their, they would be able to help?
When I presented this upstairs, when we had a Monday morning meeting, I was told to basically bring it to the tribal council, write a proposal, submit it to the tribal council during the regular session meeting. So that's what I did.
I was thinking that we did that because I think the donation committee only covered up to 500 or something. So that's why we had them do it like this. So we could get the money approved.
If this is approved, the person of, that need to be in contact with would be, Maria from, Rockridge, and also, Meredith Tucro, the, APAC, president for the, Indigenous Education, over at Rockridge.
If we move to approve, then where's it coming from? That's, I guess, Kim question, just, because I think it's great. I think it'd be fine. I just better clarify that first.
It can come out of the donations line item, because that is tribal funds. You have a policy guideline, in general, but at times historically, at times the council has gone, or it can come out of the general fund. Or you can split it, whichever way you want to do it, between the two.
Whatever's easiest, it just seems like if we just took it out of the general fund and made sure that we added this as, because we do have our new budget coming up, was added on. So
Mhm.
we just know that yearly something like this is coming up. And then look at the other districts too, make sure that we're covering everybody. Because we'd like this representation at other schools too. That'd be nice if they can represent us at, the other schools also. So this is a great start though.
And I do apologize. There are a number of comments online. We'll revisit the previous comments and questions, but right now there is a comment. If you do it for Rockridge, will you do it for other schools?
Well, going off of what Carlos said, maybe we could have some kind of guideline and say that each school has so much to do some kind of Native American presentation at a sporting events or something, and have a cap on it, then they know, and and probably identify which schools.
Yep, that's a good idea.
Be a lot easier to budget for.
Yep. The other possible option is to have it go through the donations committee,
Mhm. Yep.
I have a few comments. This is Tara.
Go ahead, Tara.
This will be setting a precedence. So we have a lot of schools in that our children go to. So even for the donations committee, we ask that people, seek other funding sources and list that, like fundraisers or whatever, And I do think that we should hold the districts accountable and the schools that they should be also donating and putting up money. Maybe we match their donation or something like that, because us only being the only ones, the natives putting up money for these things, for representation, it would be good to have those schools included in saying that they want it too, so they're putting up 1,400 also. That's what I think, because the schools aren't being totally held responsible. We're providing education about our communities to them, and they need to also, put forth an effort, especially monetary. Thanks.
Excellent point.
I apologize for the way I sound. That's why I'm not there. I'd be giving you all a cold right now. Sorry.
So I'm on the donation committee, and if it's $1,400 we're gonna be doing or in that area, is there gonna be a change in the donation committee policy that there's a waiver to go that high, or are we just sticking to 500?
I wouldn't consider this approved by the donation committee because you all didn't get a chance to even review it.
More questions or comments online? We have a lot of Native students in various schools. Next comment is it should go through donation committee. Last comment, maybe this should be tabled pending policy development. I agree, schools do need help.
I think that one thing too is to limit the amount that, you know, our donation committee is limited in the funding amount that's in there. And there's only so much to go around for each donation request. And I think that if we move forward, you know, we take all these questions and suggestions into consideration and trying to find a happy medium for this.
It is something that it'd be nice to do for our students, you know, so I do think that we do need to have further discussion on it. If you guys, if they didn't want a motion to fund it. This event is coming up soon, though. It's on the 19th and 20th, or the 20th and the 30th. Like Tara had mentioned, it would be setting a precedent. So we're gonna, you know, adjust this for each school district, 1,400 to have this kind, but it would be nice to have these guys go to each school district, you know, so I'd be willing to have our budget adjusted. We just have to figure out how many school districts that is off the top of my head, probably around 5. At the,
I will be abstaining from the vote because I'm the one who submitted the request on behalf of our band members. So I think it would be in the best interest that if I abstain from the vote. Thank you.
I think the deadline or the dates are coming up for this, but I do think that we should probably have more discussion on this. And take into consideration the comments that were made. Find out exactly how many school districts we have, and so that going into it, we're gonna know, you know, okay, this is the amount of money that we're gonna have to budget in a line item specifically for these requests. That's my comment.
I think that I see a comment on it. It says meet and decide before the dates. I think that'd be in the best interest to do that. And take the other comments that were made and try and find a happy medium. Because you know, we always run into the situation. If you're gonna do it this way, we'll do it that way. You know, if you're gonna have an event here, we'll have an event there. You know, we're gonna run into that. Thank you.
I'm in support of this event though, and I do think that we should make sure that we can look at our budget to make sure that we can cover each school district or, you know, the surrounding areas or figure out, we're gonna make it fair. We just gotta make it fair. And this one just came up quick, so that's why we're trying to make a decision on this one. So I do know we'd have to revisit that policy for future events, but this one's coming up quick. But yeah, Wastewater has to put their money where their mouth is with the cultures. And we just gotta make sure we do it right.
Would council like this put on the next weekly agenda update for Monday and then proceed with whatever decision if it's decided to go with it via poll?
Yes, yeah, we'll have to button up our policy and figure out how we're gonna move forward with this, because
Okay, I think it would be good to have donations committee also present for the discussion in case we do, you know, some possible changes to that policy.
sounds good. Sounds good. So ask for a motion to table this discussion.
Move.
Moved by Janelle, second by Robert to table the funding request until further discussion. All right, next up on the agenda item, we have Teresa Drift. Oh, do we motion? Who motioned? Oh, we didn't, Janelle? And Robert second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any silent? Motion to table pass.
Morning.
Brendan? No, it's 10. We'll take a break at 10. But Teresa Drift, hi, thank you for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you. So I have a resolution for the Bring It Home Minnesota grant, which is funding from Minnesota Housing to provide subsidies, rental subsidies for up to 18 households. And this is part of the contracting process to get this resolution in place. This will be 6 of these subsidies will be attached to New Moon to replace funding that we lost from HUD. And then we will be, we'll have 12 additional ones that we will figure out how we're going to kind of, where we're going to put those. That'll
Okay.
be a decision in the future, part of the contracting process and the setup of the program. And this program is, was set up by the legislature and put in statute. So this is not a program that's going to expire. So this is, should be an ongoing program run similar to Section 8 housing. So aside from the New Moon subsidies, the other ones will be, people can take those, they don't have to stay in one place. So if we have somebody in Duluth, they would be able to move, you know, somewhere else in Duluth. They would need to stay in one location, you know, if their family expands or, you know, kids move out or whatever, and they need to move into a smaller place or something along those lines. So. The voucher follows the tenant, basically.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep, except for the 6 New Moon ones. Those will stay with New Moon.
Okay. And then the other question that I have is there's 12 to be divided between the Twin Cities, Duluth, and the area around the reservation. How do you plan to split that up?
That's a good question. I don't have an answer for you on that yet. We do currently have 2 other voucher programs, Housing Trust Fund, which is in the Twin Cities, and then the Hearth Connection. Both of those programs are supposed to be short-term, under 5 years. So we may do some shuffling around on those programs. We are working to set up a housing, supportive housing board that would help make those policies. So it's not, I'm not the person making those decisions. This is something that's coming from the community and the government as a whole.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have a question online. What happened to the HUD funding?
So we still have the HUD funding, but when we originally applied for it, when New Moon first opened back in 2012, it was administered through St. Louis County. And then in do you remember when it was, Carol, 2022, I think, we started the process to move it from St. Louis County to Bois Forte to administer it. And we got through the process, and then HUD came back and said, oh, by the way, tribes can't administer rental subsidies. So we were no longer able to use those funds for the rental subsidy, and we had to use it to pay staff per HUD guidelines. So we're replacing those funds with this program.
We are still getting the HUD funds until at least September. So we'll see what's going on with the new round of funding, but that's a whole other discussion we don't need to have today.
Good. Is there any other questions?
Where'd Kim go?
She had a meeting she needed to go to.
Okay. Any concerns from Jeff on this legal?
Nope, I reviewed the resolution and coordinated with Teresa. No concerns on my end.
Okay. All I can say is a good job and I move to approve.
Got a motion to approve resolution number 55-2026, accepting Bring It Home Rental Assistance Program funds for Minnesota. Moved by Shane. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Janelle. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Any silent? Motion carried. Thank you, Teresa.
Thank you so much. We're really excited about this program.
It'll benefit many band members. Next up on the agenda, we have Miranda. Miranda.
Lilia? No, I was just giving you crap last time because you gave me crap about your significant other's name.
Okay. All right, Miranda's here to speak about an amendment to the Boysport Housing Essential Family and Law Enforcement Family Policies.
For your consideration and approval are amendments to two policies. Number one, the Boysport Housing Essential Family Policy, and number two, the Boysport Housing Law Enforcement Family Policy. These two policies were amended by Jeff Holt after recent discussion where the council wanted to open the tiny homes to more individuals and not restrict them only to essential and law enforcement families. If approved, the amendments would be effective immediately upon approval by tribal council. Both policies were reviewed by Jeff based upon feedback from council. And so today I am submitting to you for approval.
A question about maintenance on these, if we rent them out, and I'm all in favor of that. But if something should go like a furnace or a water heater, who's responsible for fixing that?
The housing program, because these are considered rentals through the HUD program.
So this would come out of housing funds or do we have something set aside?
It comes out of the funds that the housing program gets through the grant from HUD.
Move to approve.
Moved by Shane to approve the amendment to the Boysport Essential Family and Law Enforcement Family Policies.
Second.
Second by Janelle. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any silent? Motion carried.
Under other, you want a discussion regarding the compact with OCM.
Shane? I know you had mentioned, I can't remember what you wanted. You had mentioned something about the minutes when we were reviewing the minutes, so I asked to get it on the discussion so that we could get it in the minutes. I just forgot what we were going to talk about. I was wondering if you could bring it up again.
Yes, Jeff, are you still there?
Yep, I'm here.
Can you relay our discussions from yesterday regarding a new governor and then the compact with Boysport and the state, and then some concerns regarding the OCM rules and how that plays into everything? Thank you.
Sure. Yeah, we had discussed just the question that Shane had posed was about, given the fact that we're going to have a change in administration next year at the state level, how could that impact the compact itself now that it's signed, the rules surrounding the compact? How could the political changes at the state level impact those agreements? And I think what we talked about was the fact that there are, the fact that the compact is signed, I think is, the intent there is for those rules and that framework for the band's off-reservation cannabis activity to really be kind of set in stone and should outlast administrations in the future, right? So if we've got different governors, those compacts are intended to be rules that are remaining in place regardless of those political changes. But what we also talked about is the fact that there are rules that OCM has developed regarding cannabis activity throughout the state. Those rules are attached as an appendix to the compact. And the compact recognizes that from time to time, OCM is going to change and update those rules. So even though the compact is set in stone, and the main rules around licensing and things like that are established and we've signed it, there could be changes to those back end rules about hours of operation or specific regulations regarding retail establishments, all the things that those attachment A rules, we call them, address. So, even though the compact is going to remain in place, I stress to Shane and would stress to the council that we have to continually be engaging with the state and OCM to make sure that if they are going to be updating those cannabis rules, that they are hearing from the tribes, consulting with Bois Forte, and making sure those changes aren't going to really negatively impact the band in any of its off-reservation cannabis activities. Because, those rules, if they are changed, could apply to Bois Forte if it's operating off reservation as well. So it'll just be important to kind of remain engaged on that. There's not necessarily a to-do right now, but it's more of a, point of keeping aware of those rules and really aware of any need for the band to speak up on its own behalf to make sure that the changes aren't negatively impacting Bois Forte.
Now, Jeff, now kind of bouncing off that, what about the tax agreement regarding cannabis? Could that be altered by the governor, the new governor?
Well, the tax agreement that's specific to cannabis hasn't been, negotiated yet. And so I think once it is negotiated and once it is signed and in place, I view that similar to the existing tax agreement with the state that the band has, or a compact where, that should be a document that sets in stone the rules that continue regardless of changes in administration. So, we don't have it yet. So now we have to negotiate what that tax agreement is going to look like. And all tribes do, by the way, right? I mean, all tribes in Minnesota are in the same position of needing to negotiate that cannabis tax agreement. But once it's signed and negotiated, it should be something that stays in place because the legislature has delegated to the governor the ability to negotiate and execute those agreements.
Thank you.
I asked for that to become an agenda item so we could get that documented in the minutes, stay on top of it. And are you going to read the comment online?
Yes.
Please, thank you, Miranda.
Comment online. Can you please put something out to the band members on what the compact is, what it allows us to do, issuing of license regarding the cannabis business in general?
Yes. Yeah, excellent idea for an addition to this month's Bois Forte News. Thank you for the suggestion.
Mr. Chair,
We are going to take a 10-minute break or
Okay.
a break and try to find Jalen.
Yep.
Because Jalen's the last item on our agenda today. He might join us online. I'm not sure why he stepped out, or I'm not sure where he's at right now. But we're going to take a break, 10 minutes. And then we'll see Jalen in 10 minutes when we come back in 10. Thank you. Nice, 10 after. Welcome back. Before we have Jalen join us, we're gonna go back and address some of the comments that were made to some of the previous agenda items.
The first comment is it would be nice to have our Boys Fort applications available online rather than what is there now. Is there any way to do this? Yes, our intention is to have the application online. And we just need to work with IT to get the new application online and replace what's there now. The information regarding the addresses and the updates to that was in the Boys Fort News. A question is regarding the addresses, would this involve changing addresses on DL, bank accounts, credit cards, etc.? Yes, that's an update that our band members and community members would need to update with their different organizations where they're receiving invoices. Comment, good question. And another question is, what about having the post office at the RTG? And doing this, would that help the Net Lake City store save money and help them offset costs for them? That was a question that came up in a recent Boys Fort Development Corps meeting. And so that is something we are looking into as a possible move to the post office. We will definitely let the community and band members know if there are any changes. And one more regarding the donation request to Rockbridge schools. We need to support our Native children and parents in our schools. It is very positive. Thank you for those comments and questions online.
Thank you, Miranda. All right, next up, Jalen, I'm going to read what's in front of me, what I'm being presented. So it's approval for Chairman Hernandez to sign the extension of a MOU with New Range Copper Nickel Mine. The MOU is to have tribal monitors present during testing and surveying of water, biology, and land around the North Met and expand to the Sunrise sides of their mining operation. The MOU helps to get tribal monitor programs started and will help provide additional training and get more monitors certified to Boys Fort standards. The MOU will go until December 31st, 2026, regardless if we sign on. Testing and surveying will happen. THPO hopes to have people present to ensure quality testing happens. Funding to pay for tribal monitors is paid for by New Range, and the tribal government receives additional compensation for providing those services. For example, Boys Fort contracts tribal monitors at the rate of $40 an hour and new tribal monitors at $25 an hour. New Range then pays us the rate of $50 per monitor plus an indirect rate of 24.19%. Those funds go into a separate account to keep the tribal monitor program running. So far, this program has spent $12,785 on hourly work and has received $22,850 for providing that service, resulting in the revenue for a tribe of at least $10,065 in just hourly pay, or $15,592.42 by including indirect costs.
Yeah, and I apologize about being late. I got talking with the staff member and lost track of time. But essentially, what this MOU is doing is having our tribal monitors on site while New Range does their testing and their surveying for. I think they're trying to expand their operations. Is that right, Jenna? Baseline studies, and so we have tribal monitors out. We started out with 7 tribal monitors total. And then eventually through last summer, we ended up losing two of our tribal monitors. And then we kind of have 3 main people that we've been utilizing with a 4th kind of very, very sporadic. Within these winter months, it's been an average of about 24 hours a month of tribal monitoring kind of work that we've done. Part of that is the fact that our current MOU only covers one side of New Range's operations, and then this addendum would extend to the second side. So we would have more. There's a whole area that we're kind of missing out on having monitors present at, just because we're not approved in the MOU to do so. So this new amendment would have us being able to have our tribal monitors at both sides currently. And then I also think that in the future, we'll probably later on in the spring, we'll have another round of training for additional tribal monitors, because we are expanding. I think we're going to have more spots available for tribal monitors to get trained in at and get their, is it called MSHA training? Yeah, their mining safety certification training.
I think this has been going on for what, the past year or whatever, and I've seen a few of the people, I've seen some of the Facebook stuff, and you know, some of the band members that have taken part, and the different ones from like Fond du Lac, and you know, others that are benefiting from this. So I see no reason not to continue, and would like to move on this. I can't remember what it's called.
I will also say too that just because we have tribal monitors on site, that doesn't necessarily mean that Wastewater approves of any additional mining. It's more or less just to make sure that whatever projects are happening, that we have people there to make sure that they have the ability to know that to either stop project or to do some other things. So we have, not just within this specific sense, but other projects that we've had tribal monitors at. Those might be areas of cultural significance, or they might be areas where we think that something could be disturbed. So we have those people there to help make sure that does happen. And so I think that's kind of the whole purpose of that. So we're not necessarily approving whether or not a project should happen, more or less just making sure that if this projects that are happening, regardless of if we're there or not, that we have the ability to make sure that they abide by whatever rules and regulations that they set up for themselves, or if there's anything that is found, you know, that those things get noticed and those projects stop whenever that happens, or if that happens.
Is this the one that made the commercial that like we were partners?
We do have a couple of comments online. Monitors are essential to have. These are the tribe's eyes on projects they are working within the environment. Fond du Lac used them with Enbridge and provides income to tribal members. Eyes on the ground.
There was a story that our tribal monitors were a part of with WDIO. There wasn't necessarily a commercial done for it, but there's a story that WDIO had with New Range, and we had our tribal monitors present and spoke at that to just talk about what their purpose was within that. And I do believe Jenna is having a kind of a conference later on this spring, and we'll have a space to talk about the importance of having tribal monitors available for some of these projects.
Yeah, I'd move to for the MOU Amendment 1 extension for the tribal monitors program with New Range.
Motion by Robert. Do I have a second?
Second,
Second by Janelle. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed?
I oppose, I need to state why. Yes, it is good that they have tribal monitors on site. And I want to read a section from, chapter, or, section 12 under the MOU. Nothing in the MOU shall be construed as a waiver of the Boisfort Band's sovereign immunity or consent of the Boisfort Band to the activities and actions of New Range or the North Met project. You know, with that being said, if we were to basically fund our own monitoring program, could we? Is that a possibility? That way we don't have to play by their rules. Our people can go in and start looking how they truly want to look at projects and stuff like that. And there's been comments made that we need to make decisions with 7 generations down the road. And we need to put that into play. That looks good on paper, that sounds good on paper, but action speaks louder. And so that's why I'm opposing. Thank you.
I think we'd have to have Jeff's comments on it. My initial take on it was we could fund our own tribal monitoring program, have our own tribal monitors at projects themselves. I'm sure that when it comes to this specific project, we would need New Range's permission to be on their property because I guess it's owned technically by New Range. And then we would have to clear whatever, just the hoops of jumping through for private property inspections, I guess would have to be, I guess, allowed by New Range. And then for whatever training or whatever data is collected from there, we would have to have our DNR review that, kind of make sure, find our own findings that way. But I guess that would all be pending for what New Range would allow us to do within that specific scope. But I think, Jeff, if you have any other comments on, maybe I'm on the wrong train of thought though.
No, I think that's right. There are going to be times when the band has, the sovereign authority to impose oversight, physically access areas. That's obviously going to be a lot easier on tribal land within the reservation, within the band's territory where it controls under the Cultural Resources Code tribal monitoring. Off reservation areas that are privately owned. There could be some situations depending on if there's certain federal overlays where the tribe has the legal right to be involved. But there will be other situations like this where, the consent of the owner is probably going to be needed for tribal monitoring as well. So it's a little bit of a case by case situation. But I think for this, for the most part, the band could have its own tribal monitoring program. It could fund it, but there's still going to need to be coordination, particularly for those off-reservation activities with the owner. Unless there's a specific legal federal statute that authorizes the band to have access and monitoring. That's going to be limited in narrow situations and not every situation, though.
I think I need to finish the motion, Chairman.
Any silent? It should be approved then. Sarah, do I have your correct vote?
yes, aye.
All right, motion carried. Thank you, Caitlin.
I do have some comments though. Real
Go ahead,
quick.
Tara.
when Shane did say, I don't know if he was reading from number 12 of the MOU, and it says nothing in the MOU shall be construed as a waiver of the Bois Forte Band sovereignty immunity or a consent of the Bois Forte Band to the activities and actions of New Range. So that's in the MOU already. And I just want to make sure that New Range, whether it be Jenna or the higher officials, that they really state that when they're doing any media sensations out there. I did get quite a few calls and comments about Bois Forte. It appeared that Bois Forte was accepting and in a line with New Range. So we want to make sure we make that determination, or that New Range is the one even saying, you know, this is an opportunity. This is in no way a consent from Bois Forte, or that we are, you know, that they are consenting to our activities, something like that. Because when it's out there in the media, or a storyline or something, and it mentions Bois Forte, that's what it does sound like, that we are in side by side and accepting of the New Range. Thank you.
Sounds good. Thank you, Jalen.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, I think that is the last agenda item. Thank you all for joining us today. We adjourn this meeting or ask for a motion to adjourn the meeting. Moved by Shane. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Robert. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Any silent? Our motion carried. Meeting adjourned at 10:27 a.m. Thank you for joining us.